ElevenLabs just won a Google Ads Impact Award. The story behind it, a 4-person English-speaking only team scaled into 7 languages with no new hires and drove 3.78 million in incremental value at a 7.16 ROAS. I sat down with Tim Davis, who led it, to break down exactly how they pulled it off. Let's get into it.
I'm Tim Davis. I head all performance marketing at ElevenLabs, which includes 11 Creative, 11 Agents, and 11 API.
And so, you've just won a Google Ads Impact Award. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Every year, Google has their Google Live event, and during that, they always have a Google Impact Award. This year, they actually expanded it to 2 more categories: international growth and media achievement. And during that time, we were actually nominated for international growth because we were able to take everything that we were doing from an English perspective, translate it and localize it into those languages so we could connect with local audiences and drive sustainable growth. And we were able to do that through a tool that we built internally called Ad Engine and using our own dubbing feature within 11 Creative.
Why is scaling internationally so hard, especially for a team your size?
I only had, at the time, 4 people on the team. We only had 2 performance marketers, a creative lead, and a data science lead. Kat and I, who were the performance marketers on the account, we don't speak any other languages. So taking something from English to, say, French, German, Japanese doesn't mean a whole lot to us when we translate it. So being able to do this at scale, you can get something translated very easily, but then optimizing it and managing it after you get it live is really the hard part, because once you get something live, you start getting the data that you can then use to make the account better. But if we launch from 1 language to 9 languages, which we did, not being able to do that quickly and easily, all it does is cause toil, because we're sitting there and we're having to find our way through all these different languages.
How, and I guess when did you realize that the demand was already out there in all of these other languages?
ElevenLabs is a very much a global company. We have individuals all around the world, and our tool itself lends itself to creativity globally. We knew that by looking at the data, we had people that were coming from non-English speaking countries. Then partnering with our in-platform partners, Google, Meta, LinkedIn, we were able to identify that there was users that were only looking at this content in their native language. From there, we did upsizing to then say, is this something that we should be putting time and effort behind? Of course, there was enough sizable impact. We always do what I call a signs of life test to say, let's do 1 or 2 languages first before we jump full in with all 9 languages. Once we saw that there was definitely signs of life, we then scaled this to all 9 languages.
How do you validate a signs of life test?
All the platforms of course are going to tell you like the best story in the whole world. There's millions of impressions out there and millions of conversions you're definitely not getting. So whenever that does happen, the only way to really validate that is to launch the campaigns yourself. Once we put those campaigns in market, we start getting the clicks and the impressions and then the conversions from it. Once we have the conversions going into ElevenLabs, we then want to make sure that we have retention, because it wouldn't be sustainable for us to get people to sign up to subscribe and they immediately churn. What we saw is that not only were we able to get more users into the platform and we were meeting them where they were, but our average order value is higher with these users than they are with English only ads in those countries.
So to get to the details a little bit more, can you walk me through how does ElevenLabs come together with Gemini and Google Ads to achieve this?
Historically, what we've done in the past is we've always had a spreadsheet similar to what you're seeing here. And in this example, what I did was I pulled in our English ads here and then I translated them to German using Gemini. Unfortunately, what you do see here is a bunch of these that are over the character limit, because taking something from English to German is going to be much longer. The problem also is that a lot of times the AI will error out, as you're seeing here, which then causes more time and more toil. So I approached our head of growth about the issue of scale that we were having here. If we were going to do this and do it right, we were going to need a tool of our own, and there really was nothing in the market that was currently doing this for us. So what we did was we took this, and we were able to not only use Gemini to continue to translate it, but then we were able to add what's essentially a dictionary to it to say, for example, for German, we do want to translate AI into KI. Sometimes it will not translate it into KI, but then we can also give it those constraints to say headlines have to be 30 characters, descriptions have to be 90. And then once we're able to load that into the platform, we can learn from how the things are performing and what is suboptimal to then adjust to in-market behavior. And that was search. And then for video, what we did was we used our own dubbing tool, took our English only videos, added dubbing with specific voice, with accurate translation, dubbed it, put it in market on YouTube, and those have been doing extremely well as well.
Is it now a tool that you use every single day?
Pretty much, yep. I'm almost in there every single day because we do have a lot of creative that we're using all the time. And as we're going through it, whenever we do get new creatives, we want to definitely test all the different variants we have available to us. For example, we had a Hasbro launch that we just did, and we wanted to make sure we did it in local language. So what it did was it pulled in the English version directly from the Google Ads platform. And then as you can see, we were able to translate it into all of these languages here, dubbed with the right voice, with the right inflection, with the right timing, which had then allowed us to expand even further.
What are the results that ElevenLabs achieved with this?
So far, we've had some really great results from it. Not only were we able to sit there and say, hey, we were able to expand our market reach by doing this, but we were able to drive almost 4 million in incremental conversion value and almost a 7 ROAS, which basically means that for every dollar that we're investing, we're getting 7 back. We're currently in a lift study to confirm those assumptions, but so far the numbers do look extremely positive.
Is there anything about this that surprised you?
The biggest thing that we were the most surprised about is a lot of our videos are motion creative, and in the motion creative, you do still have English on the video. For example, and I'll play this video here for Hasbro.
Every story begins with a question.
And you can see there, every story begins with a question. We're still putting the text on the video. And if we play it in French, for example.
Toute histoire débute par une simple question.
Probably the most surprising thing was, is that going to work if we put that in market with English still on it, even though it's dubbed? And it is working. So it doesn't have to be the perfect, absolute perfect media that you're putting in market. But as long as you're able to, again, show that signs of life to then take this back to the team and say, hey, this is working and we could make it work even better if we were able to do this. That's where the big unlock comes from.
And so if I was a small performance marketing team, where should I start? What should I be doing? What should I be doing tomorrow?
If I was a small marketing team, the easiest place to start is search. Obviously, someone is typing in a keyword for your ad to show. That is kind of the absolute let's go and do this. Once you do see results there, and I'm sure you'll easily see results, the next would then be to take your creative and then translate that into other languages. So again, the beauty of the tool is we're actually able to do not only video, but we're able to do static as well. So the example I have here is one for our agents platform, and I was able to then translate it to Korean. I was able to translate it to Spanish. So we were able to take this ad, put it in market, and make sure that we're still hitting those users and being in front of them where they are.
Amazing. And so if I wanted to take, let's say I have 10 static ads and I wanted to translate those into 10 different languages, how long would that take me?
Doesn't take any time at all. It's as easy as selecting the English one here and then clicking translate, and we have up to 90 languages you can choose from. Our site is only in 9, so that's why I've been saying 9 over and over again, but if you wanted to pick Portuguese, French, and Arabic, and then while this is working, it does take a little time. This is where I typically will tell anyone who's working in the platform, while this is working, start building the campaign, getting the shell ready, because it will take a little time for the AI to then develop it. As you can see, Portuguese is ready here. And what we do is we actually give the user the English version and then the translated. Since this is our brand, we don't want it translated. So then the headline is here, and then you're able to adjust this. So say, for example, this isn't proper and we did want to change this ever so slightly. I don't speak Portuguese, so sorry for those before I butcher this, but let's say that is the correct way to do it. So before you generate it, you can certainly adjust it. And then after it's generated, you can also do the same thing. So say, for example, I did want to change the copy because it did translate 11 agent up here. I can then just change that back to agent, which I then did here, and you can see 11 agents.
Amazing. And so you can now translate your ads directly within ElevenLabs and then launch them also from ElevenLabs. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep. You can click right here, launch new ad, and you're able to push that right now to Meta and Google.
And can you tell me a little bit more about creating new variants for ads? Let's say I've translated an ad and it seems to be working very well. What would I want to do after that if I needed more ads?
You can do two things here. You can either make a video and also say, for example, you have a static creative that the AI itself is not doing a great job of trying to create a video out of it, but you can then say, edit this creative with a prompt. I could specifically say, I want to change the black background from green to blue, or I want this certain thing to fly in so I can turn it into a video. And then if you're really ambitious, you can then say, I'm going to use 11 Creative to add a sound effect, music, and maybe even a voiceover to make it truly a dynamic video. Right now, the tool is in alpha, and we're very eager to make this the most powerful tool on the market. Right now, the team is very much hands on deck, willing to work with anyone to make this as optimal as possible.
And so to sum it up, ElevenLabs launched in 7 new languages with no new hires, in a fraction of the time and the cost.
No really added cost. The other thing that makes the tool extremely useful is if you do get templates from your creative team. Right now, this is in 1 aspect ratio. You can then make sure you do it in a 1:1, a 4:5, a 9:16, and a 16:9. So when you do load those into all of the ad platforms, you have all the sizes available to you, so you can make sure that you're hitting every single aspect ratio you need, so your ad strength is as high as it can be, so you serve more often.